Hello my friends and welcome back to the Meerkat Musings video channel, which has been somewhat neglected so far in the year 2021. But I am back with an announcement to make, which you may have already seen if you follow me on Twitter, on Facebook, if you follow my website, if you have followed my podcast by some small miracle, then you will already be aware of this. But just in case, I wanted to make sure that I put this news out there as far and wide as possible because I'm very proud of this news. But just to rewind for a second, I want to take you back to the autumn of 2019. So we're going back to BC, before COVID, back when the world made some form of vague sense. Now, I had at that point begun to write a story, and it wasn't necessarily my plan for this to be a serious project, although I was writing something original and something that I hoped was a little bit different. And slowly but surely, it turned into a bigger project. And initially, I was writing this kind of on my phone at times, and sometimes on the laptop as well, using the WordPress as a website app to put this thing together. And after a while, I kind of stopped for a little bit with this because of changing jobs and that kind of thing. And then the pandemic happened, lockdowns happened, and I found myself with some free time being furloughed. And I thought to myself, you know what? Let's delve back into this. Let's try and see where this can go. And over the course of sort of being furloughed, I took this story and I turned it into something that I felt could be published. And as a process, as part of that process, I self-published onto Amazon, and it was out there. So I had officially published a book, which I was quite pleased with and quite proud of. But I wanted to see where it could go. With Amazon, as good as it is for letting people self-publish, the thing about that is loads of people do it. And the various like sort of algorithms and all the systems in place to help promote the book, I didn't really find that they worked. Maybe I was using them wrong, but you've got to understand, as I say, you're looking at most likely hundreds of books being uploaded on a daily basis. And making your project stand out in all of that is very, very difficult. So, what I did was, alongside self publishing, I approached some publishing houses. I wasn't really sure if this was going to work, but I figured I had nothing to lose. And I had a response back from one publishing house called Jumpmaster Press, who are based in Alabama, in America. And their response, it wasn't a no. Their response was, here are some thoughts on the chapters you've sent us, because they asked for the first three chapters. Here are our thoughts. Here's how we feel this could be changed and tweaked. If you sort of go away and you rejig this, then come back to us. So I'd self-published originally back in, I want to say, August of 2020. By the time I was done rewriting this book called The Awakening, it was August 2021. But there's more detail to it now, and it was fleshed out quite considerably. And I went back to Jumpmaster Press. And amazingly, they turned around and they said they actually want to take this further. They want to publish my book. So they offered me a contract, a publishing agreement, which I have very, very happily signed. And so as a result of that, I can now say that I am a published author in the traditional sense. Or to be more precise, I will be able to say that. It's not been published yet. As a matter of fact, because of the agreement, I have to kind of depublish, if you like, from any kind of like self-published avenues. So the book disappears from places like Amazon, Kobo, and other similar sort of sites. So it's been withdrawn from sale. The idea will be over the course of the next year or so to no doubt tweak The Awakening further, to upgrade it, I guess, into what would best be described as version 3, I suppose. And from there, head about publishing it in the traditional sense. So it would go on to Jumpmaster Press's website. It will hopefully end up in bookstores. It will end up being sold once again through places like Amazon and that kind of thing, but through Jumpmaster Press, who then, of course, can lend their backing to promoting the book and marketing, and hopefully gather some attention for it that on my own would be a real struggle to do. So, yeah, that's my news, that I can now say I'm a traditionally published author. I want to make it clear that I do genuinely believe if you self-publish something, you have every right to say that you're a published author. I think that's perfectly fair, but it is nonetheless nice to know that someone else has looked over my material and they've decided that it's worth taking further, that it's worth some time, and it's worth building a relationship, and it's worth publishing. It's quite gratifying, you know. I've always liked to believe that I'm reasonably good at writing stories, but when I began this project back in 2019, I didn't ever imagine I'd get to a stage where I could say I can publish this, and then to actually get that contract, well, wow, you know, absolutely wow. I never thought it would happen, but it has happened, and I'm chuffed. Of course, I'm chuffed. Where it goes from here, I have no idea. In the craziest sort of dream world, if you like, what happens now, or when it's published, I should say, is that The Awakening goes on to sell loads and loads of copies. I make loads and loads of money and live happily ever after. But I don't expect that to happen. The reality is, if I pulled in from this an extra £100 a week, that'd be fantastic. If it goes beyond that, it'll be absolutely brilliant. If it ends up being good enough and successful enough that I could live off the income from the book, that would be a wonderful thing, but I don't think that's going to happen. My mum tells me I sell myself short in that respect, and I should be optimistic about it. I naturally, of course, I want that, but I feel I'm being realistic. Will it become a bestseller? Will it win prizes? I don't think so. But if it's out there and it's being promoted by a publishing house, which, by the way, has worked with, among other people, sort of former Star Trek actors before, so it's not like they don't know how to handle the pressure and the responsibility of marketing and that kind of thing. If it ends up sort of being a success, and that's going to be in no small part because of the backing of the publisher, then naturally I'd be delighted. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm not going to assume that's going to be this huge success. But if it does, as I say, I mean, if it earns me £100 a week extra on top of what I earn doing my job, then great, fantastic, brilliant. If it goes beyond that, then it means that things become more comfortable in many respects. But we'll have to wait and see. The bottom line is, however, it will be out there. It will most likely launch at some point next year. Couldn't exactly say when. I don't know yet how it will be revised from the first two versions. There will be some changes. There will no doubt be, in the course of working with the publisher, there will no doubt be disagreements. There will no doubt be difference of opinions. And we'll just have to handle that like grown-ups, won't we? But bottom line is, it's going to be out there. It's going to be something which is going to be absolutely amazing to sort of see my name in print, as it were. And I can't wait to see where else this can go.